It's time for Go Big Blue with Blue Eagle head football coach Andrew Williams and your host David Jennings. Join us for a recap of last week's game and a preview of this week's matchup as we bring you the latest on Blue Eagle football every Thursday at 8 p.m. throughout the season. We encourage you to comment and take part of the show and show your support for the Blue Eagles. And now, Go Big Blue!
Good evening and welcome to another airing of Go Big Blue. Excited to be here again tonight, and as always, joining me here on the set, head football coach Andrew Williams. Coach, good to be back with you again this week.
Glad for you to have us on here.
Enjoyed Go Big Blue, of course, an in-depth, behind-the-scenes look at WSN football. Of course, doing a quick recap of last week's game and offering a preview of tomorrow night's matchup with the Satsuma Gators. Before we get into that, Coach, let's take an opportunity and take a couple of moments to thank all our sponsors and the people that make this program possible. Without that support, we would not be able to bring it each and every week. So thank you to our sponsors. Want to run through the list real quick if we can. Timberline Homes with Winston Lindsay, David's Catfish, our good friend Josh Godwin, South Alabama Kubota Rental over in Monroeville, that's Daniel Sawyer, LA Party Rentals, Dwayne and Amber Graves, United Bank, Lauren Yoder, Williams Memorial Chapel, Mike and Michael Williams, Trustmart Bank, Horton's Insurance, Keith Horton, Camp 31 Barbecue, Larry Murphy, Weavers Down on the Boardwalk, Andrew and Jenny Clark, Lucas Tire and Welding, Terry Lucas, Tommy Thompson Trucking, Encore Rehabilitation, Holmes Pest Control, JoJo Homes, City of East Bruton, Mayor Terry Clark and the City Council, James Furniture, Jesse Rigby, Bruton Mill Federal Credit Union, Linda Williamson, Northside Tire and Garage, Wesley Finley, and Fred's manager Peggy Booker on board this weekend or this week. And once again, just thank all our sponsors. And Coach, I think I speak for you in saying a big thanks to all these entities and individuals who make Go Big Blue possible each Thursday night.
You're right. We're glad to have them a part of supporting WSN athletics here.
We appreciate all of you that are in with us. We would encourage you to share the video as many times you see fit. Would also enjoy any comments that you would like to make. Would especially encourage you to make comments thanking our sponsors. You will see their business names and individuals' names scroll across the bottom of your screen throughout the show. And I just look forward to discussing WSN football and any comments you would choose to make. Maybe towards the end of the show, Coach, we might even take a question or two.
That's right.
Coach, let's take a quick look back at last week. Tough loss over in Thomasville, open region play. Blue Eagles on the road for the first time this year, and got over there, got off to a pretty decent start. Was in the ball game early into the second quarter. Had a couple of miscues that happened, and one thing led to another. And before you knew it, you were fighting from behind, kind of in a hole. But didn't go the Blue Eagles' way. But still a hard fought ball game by the team.
Yes, we dug ourselves a hole. We had opportunities. Sort of like same old song, same old story, so to speak, for us, our kids executing what we wanted to do. We knew Thomasville was going to try to come out and hit us early and hit us often. And we knew we had to weather the storm early in the game. And I thought that for the most part, we didn't capitalize on some opportunities on all three phases of the game, actually. Especially it was a big role play in the game. I think we had a snap that was over our punter's head, that kind of factored in the game, just field position. I tell our guys, punting is not a bad play. It's a play that we can capitalize on, especially the way we do it. So, we didn't capitalize on those in the specialty game. The most part defensively, we had some busted assignments for the most part on a continuous basis, and we were trying to get that corrected as a staff and everything, and then we missed some tackles. So all that stuff that played a role in the course of the game, we got to take care of us. We got to try to find a way to get out of our way and take care of business and allow the other team to compete against us as a team. And offensively, I thought we didn't sustain drives. We were maybe one block away here and there. We had some opportunity. We moved the ball, then we put it on the ground. You put it on the ground 5 times against that kind of caliber team. We talked about last week that Thomasville is a team that knows how to win. Those guys have been around the block. There's coaching staff that do a great job, and they know how to win. So you have to, weather the storm, take every opportunity that you have and capitalize on it and take advantage of it. But, again, we didn't get started off to a good start. I thought that, as the game went on, I thought we settled in for the most part, but you know how you settle in and you down a couple touchdowns, it's kind of detrimental on the kids. But
sure.
You know, the main thing, we want to make sure we fight. And that's something that we got to say. We got to play with heart the entire time and fight the entire game. And that's what we're still working on that too, you know. So, but again, our kids, we put some young guys in. I thought they fought through the course of it. We're going to get those guys some more reps and try to get the best product on the field overall. We're still working on trying to get the right personnel on the field on a consistent basis. And I think for the most part, we're doing a great job of trying to find that mean to put the best product on the field as a whole, you know, and kind of go from there.
Coach, and speaking with you in the time that you've been here in town, and one of the many things I admire about you is the accountability that you put not only with coaching staff, but you try to implement on the players. And I know that it's not about excuses. It's not about this and that. And I'm going to say it because I can, and I certainly don't expect you to necessarily play into it. But there's a lot of teams who started off this football season not having to play 2 top 10 opponents out of the gate, especially coming into a new school, trying to get a new system in, 2 quality opponents with the Tallahassee Tigers and, of course, Thomasville last week. And I think the most recent rankings came out Tuesday. I think one was 6 and one was 8. And that's a pretty tough road to sled, you know, with a young football team and trying to figure away a little bit. That being said, you know, we're not going to accept that in terms of not getting it done on the field. I understand that. But that is still another variable that is in place when you're trying to get your guys to where you want them to be.
Well, the main thing is if those teams are those kind of teams that's supposed to be those kind of teams that's top notch in the state, we want the challenge. We want to go in and fight against them. But the main thing is, you know, we can't allow ourselves to beat ourselves. You know, I want to make that team beat us. It don't matter who it is. If it's Hoover, if it's whoever in the state that's top in the state, we want to make that team beat us. And that's what we're not doing. We're not giving ourselves an opportunity to find a way to do the things that we're coached up to do on a consistent basis and get better and take care of our business. And so the main thing, we got to get out of our way and not make the minimal mistakes that we're making as a team, you know, and, you know, I think we'll be fine if we do that. And
I think one of the encouraging things that you can take away from it, and I'm sure that you and your staff have, when you watch the film and you see both of these teams, quality opponents, you know, their tradition speaks for itself, and you go out there and you go toe-to-toe with them, you have success with them, that's got to build confidence. And when you're making your teaching points to your kids, you can say, you know, if we can just clean up this or if we can clean up that, we're right there with these teams that are so well thought of. So it kind of leads you to believe you're not far away yourself.
No, I don't think we're far away at all, man. We're going to keep scrapping and fighting, and this is a bunch I know that's going to fight, and I told them that the last 2 weeks, you know. After the Jamboree game, I told them that I knew they was going to be a team that's going to fight. I just knew we left some opportunities out there in that game. We left some opportunities out there against Tallahassee, and we definitely dug ourselves a hole, and then within some opportunities on last week against Thomasville. So, main thing, these guys are going to continue to fight. I told them, you know, we got to make sure we commit to what we're doing, play with heart. And, you know, just try to give ourselves an opportunity. You know, we don't want to, somebody say today that, we need to get a win. No, we need to win every one of them. We working to win every game. So we're not trying to just get on the board to get a win. And then on the other end, you know, I have people that walk up and say, Coach, you all right? You know, it's uncharted territory for you to be sitting here 0-2. Well, you know, that's life, you know, and a lot of times, you know, you have to go in and adjust to that. You know, the situation as a whole and you know, like I said, get these kids in the right perspective. And like I said, we're about down the road. You know, we're working for down the road and working for right now. So, you know, we know we're sitting here 0-1 in this region. Satsuma, you know, we're in a unique situation because we still control our destiny for the most part, you know. We could come back in here and get a win in this region and then get out of region play next week for the next 2 weeks and then have an opportunity. We'll see what happens. We got a little time, but we got to, you know, put ourselves in position on tomorrow night to take care of our business. You know, Satsuma's a team that's coming in that's got a great football team, and you know, I know I'm getting ahead of myself right there, but you know, they got a good football team. They know they're in the same situation we're in. So, you know, we got to make sure we prepare ourselves, put last week behind us, and just get better, you know, as a whole.
Coach, before we officially close the book on last week, and I'm one of the things that had to make you happy, make you proud last week was to see the turnout, the Blue Eagle fans that got on the road, made the road trip over to Thomasville, and by all accounts that I've heard from, y'all had as many or more fans there as the homestanding Thomasville Tigers, and I know that I know you were excited to see that.
I was. I mean, man, you know, I was tickled to death to see the turnout we had. I thought that And we really did. I thought we had just as many fans as Thomasville had, and our fans were, like I said, in the stands, and we need our fans in the stands on Friday night, and it just makes a difference with those kids. I really feel that way, and we don't need them definitely at home on tomorrow, and we look forward to the turnout that we get tomorrow, and it just plays dividends for our kids, to see those people in the stands and continue to support our program as a whole, so.
And, Coach, let's go ahead and just talk about tomorrow. The Satsuma Gators coming in, once again, a region opponent, a pretty quick turnaround, an opportunity to right some wrongs from the week before. Talk a little bit about what the Blue Eagle fans can expect to see from the Satsuma Gators in terms of philosophy, size, overall athleticism. What kind of football team are they bringing into town tomorrow night?
Well, they're a team that's lost 2 close games. They're sitting here 0-2. They had an off week this past week. So, they got a chance to find the things that they got to find to get better. They had a little time off. So we expect them to come in and kind of get some things rolling, in their favor, and they're a huge football team as a team standpoint. So we feel like they might try to come in and try to smash on us a little bit with the numbers games. That's what I would probably do if I was them. But, we just look forward to the opportunities that we have. We know they're getting some Wildcat things. They got a good core group of kids that's coming in. They had a couple transfers in on their team that's played a big role on their team this year opposed to last year that wasn't on that team. I think quarterback play is an issue for them right now, from what I understand. From what I could tell, we feel like that, we got some advantages there, so to speak, but we're going to have to handle the elements of them just lining up trying to smash on us a little bit. And, we told our kids that, and we know that we got to handle those situations, when they come up and try to do that. They're a team that's, the speed is sort of probably about mediocre or a little bit better than mediocre. So we feel like we want to match up in that phase of the game. But like I said, we got to stand up there and stand toe to toe with them when they try to line up with those big guys and run right else as well as on the defensive front. They can put up 200-300 pounders up there on the front on both sides of the ball at times, so we got to handle that part of the game. And like I said, main thing is we need to get off to a good start and finish our business,
Coach, you made mention in each of the first 2 weeks that in many cases, or in some cases anyway, that the Blue Eagles were their own worst enemy. It wasn't necessarily what the other team was doing. It wasn't anything that you weren't necessarily prepared for. It was mental mistakes, sometimes physical mistakes that led to some of the adversity that your football team faced. What are some of the things that you can do in practice to try to get over that hump and get your guys to the point where when they get to that point of critical mass, they can get it done, as opposed to maybe not being quite there just yet?
Main thing is, I think it's more of in between the years, a mental aspect. I don't think it's more so, your practice. You got to practice like you play. We talk about practicing on a high level, and that's something that we definitely want to make sure we do, is practice on a high level, and that's game like, and that gets you in a game situation. And like I said, the main thing is you have to do that. You have to practice on a high level, and that takes care of those mistakes. The other problem, or the next scenario that you look at, is play the next best man up and find you somebody else that can get the job done if we continue to make mistakes. So, we give a kid opportunity to take care of the business, and we gotta hold each other accountable, sure. and it goes back to what we said earlier. You gotta hold each other accountable. Those kids that's bagging the next guy up, they gotta hold them accountable and get their opportunity to go in there and make the play. It's about getting the job done. And we've been stressing, do your job, because the man in the front don't do his job, then the man behind him gonna have some problems. So it's a system that we try to put in place, and we just got to do our job as a team, and I think we'll be fine. That's all 3 facets of the game,
You and I were talking earlier today and about all the team sports. I love all the sports, football, basketball, and baseball, but I'm of the opinion football, even more so than the other two, is more of a complete team effort. I mean, you're absolutely dependent of the guy beside you doing his job, which will in turn allow you to do your job, which gives you just a chance to be successful. That doesn't guarantee that you're going to have success in that particular play. There's some guys coming at you that have worked extremely hard, that are pretty good athletes themselves, but football really is the ultimate team sport. If you misfit on defense, or if you miss a block on offense, regardless of what the efforts may be around you, you have a greater probability for breakdown. And that's one of the things I like about it. I know you as a coach is a tremendous challenge for you and your staff, is to get everybody moving as one, get everybody moving together, because and being accountable, like you said. And those are the type lessons that make stronger young men in this case. I mean, when you learn to be accountable, that's a lesson, that's a trait that you carry out in the workforce, out when you have your family, when you're age appropriate or whatnot. Those are lessons that need to be taught to all our youngsters.
That's right. We tell our kids, you got to be these are things that's going to help you make it through life as you go. If you hold each other accountable as a teammate, and just do it the right way. And we going to continue to push these young men to do it the right way and have a good time playing the game. We got to play with a little bit more of a swagger and play with some self confidence. Those are things that we're working on. It's all about almost like we're trying to be a psychologist for them to and find means to get them in that realm where we can play with some emotions a little bit. So main thing, we just continue to work, and work on our craft and continue to get better as a team.
Very good. We're going to take a short break, but make sure you stay with us. We have more Go Big Blue on the way. Of WSN High School with Go Big Blue. We appreciate all of you that are in with us. Would encourage you to share the video, like Bossman Productions page. Especially appreciate the comments. Gwen Shell's in the house, Coach, and she says she's ready for tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
That makes a bunch of us. Also want to take just another moment to recognize our sponsors. I don't believe they can be recognized enough and the support they give the WSN Athletic Club, and want to run through that again real quick if we can. Timberline Homes with Winston Lindsay, David's Catfish, and Josh Godwin. South Alabama Kubota Rental there in Monroeville. That's Daniel Sawyer. L.A. Party Rentals, Dwayne and Amber Graves. Fred's, Peggy Booker, the manager there. Northside Tire and Garage, Wesley Finley. Bruton Mill Federal Credit Union with Linda Williamson. James Furniture with Jesse Rigby. The City of East Bruton, Mayor Terry Clark and the City Council. Holmes Pest Control, JoJo Holmes. Encore Rehabilitation. Tommy Thompson Trucking. Lucas Tire and Welding, Terry Lucas. Weavers there on the boardwalk with Andrew and Jenny Clark. Camp 31 Barbecue, Larry Murphy. Horton's Insurance, Keith Horton. Trustmark Bank, Williams Memorial Chapel, Mike and Michael Williams, and United Bank with Lord Yoder. Thank you to everybody who has been a supporter of Go Big Blue. We appreciate that. And once again, without it, we wouldn't be able to bring it each and every week. So for those of you in on the broadcast, if you would and feel led to share comments, thanking our sponsors. If you had an opportunity to trade with them, we would certainly encourage you to do that. And if you see them out and around town, pat them on the back and shake their hand and thank them for supporting WSN Athletics. Coach, before we move forward, our middle school football team's in action tonight against
Ernest Ward.
Ernest Ward had a big win last week against Atmore, looking to get number 2 in the books here tonight. If anybody has that score and would like to post it here, we would love to pass it along as well. So the more interaction we get, the better. And once again, feel free to to share the video as you will. Tim Meadows in. Tim's one of our friends from Op. He's a sports fan, pulls for everybody, and glad to see Tim in with us as well. Tim, hope things are going well.
Chuck Anderson is such a Facebook guy. He could probably coach and post the score at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
That Facebook.
They get it going. Coach, you and I have talked about many things over the last several months, away from the X's and O's standpoint. And like I said, there's so many things about you that I admire and respect, and the way you go about your business and the things you try to implement in the kids, and focusing on the total person development, not just a football player, not just the athlete. And you're doing that also with your coaching staff. You and I were talking, I didn't know this, but y'all have started a Bible study for you and your coaches, I think on Thursday morning. I think Lawton Ship has played a role in that also in terms of leading that. Talk a little bit about that, how that's come about, and what you think that offers you and your staff on a weekly basis.
Well, FCA, if anybody's familiar with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, we tried to get that going one time before, and I got a hold to the coaches outreach program that they offer coaches all over the state to get involved in, to have a little summer retreat or whatever. And I've been putting it off, and the time, and it's sort of been the fact that we've been had a family reunion or something going on. I hadn't got a chance to get me and my wife and everybody to go, but I continue to talk to the guys that's pretty much setting that up. And when I got here, they actually came in and met with me and Mr. Freeman, and he's from down towards Pensacola way, and told him that I really wanted to get it going, and I've been wanting to do it over the years, and this was just the right time to do it. I just thought that I needed somebody that could come in and kind of head it up, and somebody gave me the name of Lawton Ship to be one that could probably, they wouldn't mind, and I asked him, and he was all for it. And yeah, well, this is our second week this week, and we'll go for 12 weeks. On every Thursday morning starting at 6 o'clock, and just free will. Anybody can come. They got books, whatever, that they set the Bible studies up for you. And I mean, it's pretty low maintenance, and it's just a round table discussion. And it's just you need that to lean on, trying to do it the right way, and just the communication part of it. With when you're dealing with so many people, in the world, you got to be able to communicate with them, and
sure.
And you got to have a good heart doing it, because some of them, might not have a good heart, so to speak. So you have to try to do it. Try to get everybody involved and try to keep them, converse to the same situation, as a coach and as a teacher here, just dealing with different people and kids. And, it's more so about how you deal with kids and how you handle kids, and just doing it the right way and dealing with people,
Well, I think it's so important that you said that and you share that, and you more importantly believe it and live it. Obviously when that clock goes to zero, we want to have more points than the other team on the scoreboard. You certainly want to go out there and win. We're all competitive in our spirit, competitive in nature, and you'd like to win. But there's such a bigger picture there that, as coaches, if you miss that opportunity to have an impact on a young person, whether it's, through a character development or spiritual development, I think there's a great opportunity that's missed there. And certainly applaud you and your staff for kind of setting the proper pace there, and not only talking about it, but living it regardless of the circumstances. We're not going to we're not going to praise just in times of victory. You're going to do it in times of adversity. That has to be constant, and that's part of that total person development that we've talked about many times.
Yeah, you got to have a complete person. We're not just living on one side or the other side of the good and the bad. They say you don't want to be lukewarm in anything you do, so you want to be all the way in or not in, and that's what we're trying to sell it to our kids. They need to be able to see somebody that's doing it the right way and trying to live right, and give them an opportunity to know that it's somebody that's a God-fearing type person, and we want our coaches just to have a good time with it and enjoy it. And, it might be just one person that get mainly something big out of it. I mean, we got some guys that's coming from the middle school, and coaches coming from down there in the high school, any coaches that want to come, and we're not pressing them to come. It's an opportunity, One thing about it, we have donuts and water, every morning. And
did you say donuts?
I said donuts, brother. We're gonna get in there and have donuts and water for them, and just have a good time, for that hour or so. But anybody that's welcome to want to come, and join in, they're welcome to it.
Very good. I tell you, you mentioned Lawton Ship. There's not a finer person in the community, to be a part of that. Lawton's one of those guys. If help is needed or assistance is needed, he's always been one of the first to raise his hand and say, I'm in.
I was the one that hit him up on 2 things. He's actually doing my stats for him again.
Yep.
He used to do those back in the day, and he's I'm 2-0 with him right now, and I know that he's a good guy. And one thing about it, nobody's perfect, man.
Sure.
We sitting in this world. We know we're not perfect in what we do. We know we're subject to different evils and everything that's going on in the world on any time. So we got to try to, right there in the middle of the week, to try to keep ourselves prayed up on, the right things, and try to pray for somebody else, and that's what it's about. We go in there and we pray for anybody that's in need, any kids. I had a kid that grandparent passed, and so we started to say a prayer for that family, or whoever's in need of any situation, but we talk about different things in the Bible, and we just try to have a good time with it.
Well, Lawton's probably going to kill me for saying this, but I don't think Lawton can say no. So if you get in a tight spot a little bit later in the year and have a need that's not being met or run out of option, just go ahead and go to Lawton, because I don't think he can say no.
Is that right?
Coach, you and I were also talking and kind of going back to with young people and trying to help them work through their emotions and the different feelings they're having. And you and I talked about it a little bit today. And this is for any of the young athletes that may be listening tonight or may listen a little bit later on. And we talk about handling your nerves and being nervous, whether the lights are shining the brightest and you're in a competitive environment and you're playing against a highly acclaimed player or somebody who has great credentials or whatnot. Controlling those emotions and giving yourself a chance, to let your athleticism come out, is a point you have to get to in terms of mental preparation. We've talked about that many times. I think you and I are on the same page with that. And the hard part of that is getting a kid to really buy into that and see it for what it is. The worst thing that's going to happen is we're going to fail on a particular play, or we may lose a ball game. Hopefully nobody's gotten injured. Certainly nobody's been fatally injured or going to jail or whatnot. It's a game. And to not give yourself a chance to be successful because you can't control your emotions is not only cheating the team, it's cheating yourself. Yeah. You've put in a lot of preparation, whether it's running on the track, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's banging heads in practice. A lot has gone into it to give you the opportunity to be in that moment. And my message to the young people, the young athletes who may be watching this at some point down the road, playing against a good football player is not a nervous situation. When you have a $500 power bill due on Friday, and on Tuesday you got $68, that's a good time to be nervous.
You're right.
I'm
sharing that with our kids.
When you're talking about just playing football here, what'd you sign up for? Did you sign up to play in a ball game where you're going to outman your opponent and it's not even going to be an athletic contest, or are you wanting to go out there and put your nose on his and find out what both of you are about? Right. And if you can get to that point, I think oftentimes you'll surprise yourself on how well you'll match up. I'm a big proponent of never crowning anybody. That's right. The better they are, the better that everybody thinks they are, the more I would want to play that person. That's what gets me charged up.
Exactly. It's about rising to the occasion. Whatever the occasion is, you got to rise to the occasion in the heat of the moment and in the battle, And, we tell our kids, if I sit that ball down on that floor and you on that other team on that side and he on this side, and somebody got to come up with it. And who's going to fight to get it? And that's what it's about. This game is a game, like you said, but it's also about being competitive. And, that's sort of where we're trying to preach at, and being a psychologist, so to speak, to getting our kids to that point where we can get scrappy. That's an off-season process. That's a mental process. And that's something that we got to get in a hurry. And with our younger guys, they sort of some guys don't really know nothing but that, so to speak, and that's what we got to sell, and we got to get it going in our middle school level as well as our high school level, and get that as being a consistent basis around here where we're in for the fight no matter what. And then let's let the chips fall where they may. If we put a good product on the field and prepare ourselves, we feel like we've had great plans on a consistent basis all, through the course of the year. We just got to find the means or the mentality to have that fight in us to want to get it done against, the people of the world, so to speak, or that big time player or that big time running back, just try to, we was using the analogy, if you run up on the best running back that's out there, the guy that's the man, you want to try to, in your mind, I want to try to shut him down because he's the guy. And so, that's the mentality that we got to get, and that's what we're pushing towards as a team, as a program here, at WSN.
And I love the analogy you used about there being, in this instance, a football between you and I, and only one of us is going to come away with it. If the distance is even between you and I and the football, it doesn't necessarily take a whole lot of athleticism to determine who's going to come away with it. It comes down to who wants it the most.
Who wants it the most?
Who wants it the most? And oftentimes, if you can get yourself to that mindset and just be willing to compete at that level and having that in the back of your mind, you'll be shocked how many times that'll lead to success, because a lot of people just won't compete. You and I have talked about it several times. It's not always about winning and losing. It's about competing. And I mean going out there and really getting after somebody's rear end and competing. And when it all, like you said, when it all shakes out and the chips fall where they may, at least they know you were there and you were there to compete with him, not to watch him play and get autographs.
That's right. And, we talked about, as I run it, we talked about it this morning actually at our outreach Bible study this morning with our coaches. It's not necessarily how big the person is. You might have a guy that's 200 pounds opposed to another guy that's 250 pounds, but we set the ball in between that 200-pound guy. If he want it bad enough, he'll get it before that 250-pound guy get it. So, you don't look at the outward appearance of a person. You look at, how much he wanted from here. And that's what we gotta continue to sell that as a program here, to push our kids to let them understand that, they got the battle, and don't matter to have no respect to people. We have to just show up and compete and give it all,
Well, I can assure you that the physical condition I'm in right now, I could do you no good tomorrow, but I'm jacked up right now. Like I feel like I could go out there and do something, but I get jacked up being around you. We're going to take another short break, reset the stage here just in a moment. So make sure you stay with us. More Go Big Blue on the way. And we are back here on the campus of WSN High School with Go Big Blue, and some comments starting to come in, Coach, and a good friend, Michael Cozy, making a suggestion that maybe you should put me in at fullback down the goal line. That would be a bad move. I don't know if I would never make it from the sidelines to the playing field without needing a timeout. But, Michael, I appreciate the faith you have in me. But, no, that would not be good for the Blue Eagles. We do encourage participation. We would rather talk with you as opposed to at you. If you have a question for the coach, if you'd like to post it there online, we will get to it as we can. Also want to take another opportunity, and I don't think we can take enough of these, to recognize the sponsors that bring this program to us each and every week. Just so supportive of WSN athletics. It's been overwhelming to Ken and I with Bossman Productions in terms of the number of folks that have come out to support. Then we just want to recognize those every chance we get. Fred's with Peggy Booker as a manager, Northside Tire and Garage, Wesley Finley, Bruton Mill Federal Credit Union with Linda Williamson, James Furniture with Jesse Rigby, the City of East Bruton, Mayor Terry Clark, and the City Council. Thank you, Mayor. Holmes Pest Control with JoJo Holmes, Encore Rehabilitation, Tommy Thompson Trucking, Lucas Tire and Welding, Terry Lucas, Weaver's there on the boardwalk with Andrew and Jenny Clark, Camp 31 Barbecue, Larry Murphy, Horton's Insurance, Keith Horton, Trustmark Bank, Williams Memorial Chapel, Mike and Michael Williams, United Bank with Lauren Yoder, L.A. Party Rentals with Dwayne and Amber Graves, South Alabama Kubota Rental there in Monroeville, Daniel Sawyer, David's Catfish with Josh Godwin, and Timberline Homes, Winston Lindsay. Thanks to each of you. If you have an opportunity to trade with any of these individuals or entities, we would encourage you to do so. If you see them out and around town, certainly shake their hands and pat them on the back and thank them for their support of WSN athletics. Coach, moving into the bottom half of the hour, and of course, we talked a little bit about some of the opportunities that some of your younger players have had the last couple of weeks and some of the impressions they've made on you and the possibilities of maybe seeing even a little more of them as the season moves on. And one of the things that you shared, I like this, you have a window of opportunity there to show yourself. And then if you don't quite get it done or maybe not quite ready, the next man up is going to have an opportunity. So anytime you get an opportunity, the best way to get a second opportunity is to make good on your first one.
Exactly. We have the next best man up policy,
Talk a little bit about some of those younger people who have made an impression in the first couple of games.
Yeah, the talk from coming out of last week is to Isaac Bonham. He's he's a 220-pounder, about 6 foot, that's playing a little running back for us, fullback and everything. And he's one that's showed some spurts. I want to get him a lot of JV work this year, and let's get some duty carrying the ball in the varsity game as well as some things, work some stuff defensively as well. And he's going to be one that's going to roll in there a lot for us here in the next few weeks. We're going to probably put him up out of the JV and move him on straight varsity, where he'll play a vital role in what we're doing on the varsity level. He's one that's, I think last week he might have had 172 yards, 182 yards from about 14 carries. And he came in the game and showed some spurts, He's a guy that stood on that sideline with his helmet buckled up, with his mouthpiece in, looking at me the entire time on that sideline, ready to go in the game. So he's one that's, it's ready to play, So we got to utilize him and try to get him some reps in there with our other guys and kind of go from there. Another guy that, a lot of people, we have several younger guys that's doing a great job. Another guy that's just doing a great job in practice, and I'm wondering when we'll be able to get an opportunity to get him a chance on the field, and that's Leggett. He's a guy that's, he's been working hard, and I've been kind of watching him without watching him. I hadn't told him, but he's a guy that's just working hard, and he's going to be a good player before he leaves here. He's just a gamer, works hard, and does a great job for us. And the next guy is Elijah Hardy. He's all these guys are freshmen that I'm talking about. Okay. He's one on the offensive line. He came in last week, and somebody went down with a little injury, a nagging injury. He came in the game, and man, I was impressed with what I saw. I'm gonna be honest with you. We talked about it in our Sunday meeting. He's a guy that could come in that game. I don't feel bad about having him in the game on the varsity level. So he's another one that's going to probably end up doubling up on time on Friday nights. We wouldn't feel bad about putting him in the game. And he's multiple, he can do a lot of things for us. And man, there's several more guys that we could name that's doing a great job. Not only on Friday night that they might not be getting an opportunity, but in practice, they're giving us great looks, that we're looking for, giving the other teams looks. And but those are some guys that might see a little time on Friday night, that I just named, some younger guys. And like I said, there's plenty more. We had several guys that's found other positions that's coming up that's going to get on the field. On Madden, he's another one. I mean, he's going to see a lot of time. We're going to utilize. He's very coachable. Goes in there and do what we ask him to do. And at the strong rover position, we're going to give him an opportunity to get some looks with him over there on at the strong rover position. And the other guy is Brendan Jenkins. He's going to get an opportunity to get some major reps tomorrow. He's a great tackler. Till he got a little game experience coming from Atmore last year. He was a starter over there. And, he just shows signs, spurts of making plays, and he's a great tackler. So we got to get him over there and try to help us out. But there's several guys, man. I mean, I've been real pleased with it. We got to get those guys some time on the field and let them get some experience, and we'll kind of go from there,
Got a question that came in, Coach, and it came from Tony Burnham. What would you consider the team's strength through 2 games?
Well, main thing is the camaraderie of the team. I mean, they are who they are, and we gotta find ways to continue to work towards where we at. We sort of a team that's the strength of us is we sort of there. We with each other, and they're playing some. They're being collaborative with each other, but we got to step it up to another level. Some of those people on our team that's sitting there that's in that shell, they got to step it up to another level and bust out of that shell to be leaders, to be more leaders than what they are. So, that's the main thing. I like our mentality as a team for the most part, and that's a strength in any team. You know, you got to have that. You got to have some bonding, and you got to have some guys that basically like each other. And I like that about our team. You know, that's one thing I like. We're just inconsistent in some areas and that plays a role. But I like our team bonding right now. And that's the biggest strength that I like about this team right now.
And that's not always a guarantee in terms of having that many personalities out there.
You got a lot of personalities.
Any coach that has any success in the team sports, that chemistry is a big part of it. I mean, you don't have to be best friends in the hallways. You don't have to be best friends on the street. But when you're out there in that competitive environment, you have to love the guy beside you. I mean, you have to have unconditional love for him and make sure we're all pulling that rope in the same direction, or it gets real uphill in a hurry.
I've seen it being on the other end of the spectrum. I can tell you that. Yeah. We take things for granted, but that's something that you can't beat that now. When the kids respect each other and like each other, but somebody's got to step out of their shell, and somebody's got to step up and make a decision when nobody else might not like the decision, or somebody else might not be with the decision. Somebody's got to step up and do what's right. And that's where we try to pull them to get out of that mentality, and I mean, that might have something to do with why they so, a good collaborative bunch right now. So, but, we just got to keep working on that and keep working on their minds, and somebody stepping up and being leaders,
We appreciate the question, would encourage more, and Coach, and watching a little bit of the huddle cut-ups that I've been able to see, and then talking to you, you just get the feeling that if something could go right early in the ball games to the Blue Eagles, the fortunes could almost change immediately, because in the last couple of weeks, things have managed to go wrong. Of course, a lot of times, and you've said it several times, we've been our own worst enemy. But if we could get out there and make a play, or, the ball bounce our way one time, I think all of a sudden you may see a guy elevate out of his shell or become a different leader. Well, and sometimes those things just have to happen, especially for young football teams.
Exactly. Especially a team like we got right here, the main thing is the consistency of something happening good. Sure. If something happened good to us, we got to stay consistent within it. We put some drives together early in the season. I mean, especially, even a week ago, even last week, we put some drives together and did some great things. Defensively, we wasn't as consistent as we want to be. We want to be consistent, but we blew some assignments, and that caused us not to be consistent. And Thomasville is a great football team. Sure. They took advantage of it. And, again, we've got to get consistent with what we're doing. If we get consistent with that mentality, we'll be fine. We'll be able to. Good things gonna happen to you if you're consistent. Good things will happen, and that's where we're at right now. We just got to find that medium where we can stay consistent and just take advantage of our opportunities.
Well, I think you mentioned, if I heard you correctly, you actually outrushed Thomasville last week in terms of running the football.
We did.
Of course, you had the 5 fumbles. Not sure how many of those we lost, but even the ball that's hitting the ground is going to create a negative play, or not what a play could have possibly been. So even with the 5 fumbles, to outrush them is a positive. If you can clean up the ball handling and keep that sucker tucked away, then what's that number become? Then what happens to a drive? Because you know as well as anybody at any level, especially maybe even more so in high school, if you don't have the complete offensive attack at all times, if down and distance, so important. So if the ball hits the ground, you fall on it, then all of a sudden you're behind the chains. 2nd and 10, play calling becomes different. Your personnel group has become different, and things just get that cleaned up, and a lot of it will take care of itself.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm sitting here, and I got to looking at us, over time, and I get to thinking about it. I'm gonna tell you something. The mistakes we've made and some of the things we've been inconsistent on, we're lucky not to be getting beat by 50 points.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. So that tells me a lot about us as a team. The kids gonna fight, and I just thought that. If you make those mistakes like that, you can really put yourself in a bind. But one thing about our kids, like I said, they got that camaraderie where they're going to work together and they're going to continue to fight. And that's one thing about it. I'm just tickled about that part. That's something that you don't have to worry about. A lot of other places, I mean, I know to be thankful for a group of guys that's going to fight the entire time. So, I mean, all we got to do is correct the things that we got to correct. And I think we'll be fine, But again, things could get bad in a hurry and then you don't respond. That's what's scary. If we didn't respond, it could get ugly in a hurry. But our kids fought, man. I was tickled to death last week. We were sitting there. I think it might have been 31 to maybe 12 or 14 at the time. And man, we were sitting there, and I was thinking about, man, maybe I need to go ahead. I had started subbing on a lot of guys, but I wanted to just concentrate on just working our guys that we had coming back. Maybe I should have come back and tried to get the ball back right then and try to make a run, But like I said, hindsight is sort of what it is. 'Cause I thought we had the whole momentum of the game had changed. We had a little success offensively, but we still hadn't done anything defensively to try to help ourselves. So, again, I wanted to get out the game with some positive. And I thought we got out of that game with some positive, even though it ended up the way it ended up. I thought we'd come out the game with some positive. And that's all you can do, We got to continue to work, correct our mistakes, and we come back and we talk about them, and we kind of go from there,
Coach, also, and of course, through the year, we're going to have different groups in here to showcase and promote them as well, whether it's the cheerleaders, the band, some of our senior football players a little bit later on. And I know that you're appreciative of the efforts of all the young people that make the Spirit at WSN what it is. Kelly Grace made a comment earlier. She's a cheerleader sponsor. Those young ladies have worked awfully hard during the summer, going to camps and getting their routines down. Kim with the band have put in many hours as well throughout the summer and throughout the season. And I know that you appreciate the efforts of all of those because it really does tie into the Friday Night Lights experience. And if you haven't had an opportunity to come out to the stadium and partake in that, tomorrow night would be an excellent opportunity to do just that.
It would, and they work hard. Now I tell you, I was real tickled about how our band spend a lot of time there. And they work late hours. They get after it, And Kim, she's Miss Walter. She's one that does. She believes in what she's doing, and she believes in you having to work hard and getting it done. She don't give those band people no slack. And I know our cheerleaders, they gonna work and they gonna do what they get, and they're always trying to find ways to move forward. Our Allie, I think her name is Allie, our cheerleader captain. She come to me often trying to find ways to get more spirit going on and trying to put me up to be the bad guy to go to Miss Frazier about trying to find ways to get things going. But I like the fact that we pushing in that direction, and everybody's pushing towards having school spirit and just getting involved in what we're doing. I'm tickled to death about that. I think that all our programs, we want to get them on that level where we, our volleyball team is playing now and during this part of the year, and we want people to come out. We want people to come out and support those all our athletics, as a team, and we all got to work together to push each other and to press each other. It's tough when you got overlapping sports in one season, but we still got to support each other and try to go from there.
Very good. We're going to take one more short break, and we come back. We'll have the final segment here with Coach Andrew Williams. Once again, encourage you to post a question. We'd love to get to it if we can. This is your opportunity. You've got Coach's full attention, and if you want to have a question that you want an answer to, we'll try to get it in before the end of the show tonight. But we're going to take a short break to stay with us. More Go Big Blue on the way. And we are back here on the campus of WSN High School, winding down here at the bottom of the hour with Go Big Blue. Coach, it's been a lot of fun this hour. I got to talk about a lot of different things and share some information. Of course, appreciative of the sponsors. You'll see those business names and individuals' names scrolling across the bottom of your screen, and can't say enough how much we appreciate them and their support. Without it, it wouldn't be possible to do each and every week, but certainly appreciate that. If you get an opportunity to trade with them, certainly do so. And if you see them out in public, shake their hand, pat them on the back, and tell them thank you for supporting the Blue Eagles.
Right.
Coach, it's going to be coaching high school football is tough on its best day. When things are perfect, it's tough. When you're battling strep throat, I only have to imagine it's a little tougher. Been battling, haven't you, Coach?
Yeah, I've been battling, but, we're going to make it work. We've been battling with our kids, We had probably about 3 or 4 kids out this week dealing with some kind of sinus or strep throat or whatever the case might be. And last week we had 2 or 3 out, so we've been battling with that. And then it finally caught up with me, I guess. So I had to go.
You do okay with needles?
Take care of me.
You do
I
okay
do all right when it's going to help me. If it's not helping me, I don't think I care too much about it. But anyway, we started working towards getting better as a team, So.
Once again, we appreciate those that are in with us. We would encourage you to share the video as many times as possible. Go on and like the Bossman Productions Facebook page, if you would, please. The comments we especially appreciate. And if you have a question for the coach, now's the time to get it in. And Coach, moving forward into Satsuma, both teams desperate for a win. Both teams are going to come out and fight for one. For things to go WSN's way tomorrow night, what's a couple of things that have to happen to get that region victory tomorrow night?
Well, I hate to be monotonous, but we got to take care of the ball.
Yeah.
We got to block and tackle. Those are just basic things that we have to do that we take for granted. We need to be sound on all 3 phases of the game and give ourselves a chance to, just to weather the storm and kind of knock the sticks out. Just knock out first downs and consistently and finish our drives. We got to make sure we be sound defensively. I mean, it's going to come down to us playing great defense. If we can play great defense, we should be fine in this game. I think we'll move the ball. We've shown that we can move the ball against anybody, and I really feel that way. I mean, we've had right at 300 yards or over in every game, just total offense. So I think we can move the ball for the most part against people. We just gotta be able to keep our offense on the field by not giving up the big play. We've given up the big play. I mean, Lord, that's another thing that's a big key in this game. We can't give up the big play. If we line up and play solid, we'll be fine, and, just move the ball, knock out some first downs, and keep their offense off the field for the most part. And like I said, we should be fine if we do that.
I think you made a great point early. So much football left to play. Of course, region play again tomorrow night, and you still control your destiny. Yeah. If you get those things cleaned up, a little bit of improvement, in an area or two, then all of a sudden you're going to dictate your postseason chances, as the season runs through. And I think that's important to remember. I know it's been passed along, to the kids throughout the week of practice that this is not the time to hit the panic button. It's a time to go out and enjoy the opportunity, embrace that, go out and play with passion, play with fire, and understand that if you take care of your business on the field, there's going to be something in the season waiting on you.
Exactly. There's a reward at the end. So, we gotta stay low maintenance for the most part, and just take care of business. They even kill. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Just take care of the business at hand. And every little thing gonna count. We gotta scrap for everything we get on tomorrow night. And I mean, that's something that we've talked about this week. And like I said, we're sitting here 0-1 in the region, and this team is sitting here that hadn't played a region game.
Sure.
So. It's a big game because of the next one, but it's not only that, but we sit here to control our own destiny in this region. I mean, it's just a big one right now, that we're going to be up against on tomorrow.
Coach, something else I want you to speak to, if you will, and a lot of times it gets lost in the shuffle, the commitment it takes, whatever it is within the school, as an administrator, as a teacher, as a coach, but it's your spouses who also go through the journey with you. I would only assume last weekend after the tough loss, your wife probably had to listen to some of it, there around the house or whatnot. And I know that for all you coaches, your significant others are so important to you, and their support for you guys allow you to do the job and spend the time with the kids that you do. And I just wanted you, if you would, just to speak to that a minute and talk about how important it is to have that support, from your wives.
And I don't know if I'd be sitting here today if I didn't have the support from mine. I mean, my wife is she understands the battle. She understands what she got into when she chose me, sure. And I just, I wouldn't be able to do it without her because, she can kind of understand in one area, and then she sort of knows when to talk to me or when not to talk to me for the most part. So she deals with a lot. She dealing with my son. I think he takes, things more personal than anybody. He was, we actually come off the field and somebody we lost against, the first game, and she was, he come off the field and he was just boohooing, for the most part, and I had to make sure I console him, but she deals with that more so than I do for the most part. And then he plays a little pee-wee ball, so she has to head all that up for us, taking him to practice because I'm at practice. So her road never stops. Her days are long, just as long as mine, and then try to go prepare. And man, that's so much. I mean, she has a major role in what we're doing. And, I appreciate her for that. She knows that. And, I can't treat her enough. When this is over with, I'll be in the house trying to, please her on a consistent basis, after this is over, trying to spend some time with her and, let her do some things that she likes to do as a wife. And, but as a coach's wife, you play a lot of roles, especially when you got a little one there at the house, and you have to do everything, sort of speak by yourself. I try to be there as much as I can, but especially coming into a job like this, you got to lay the foundation early. Sure. And she knew she wasn't going to see me a whole lot, and I told her that. We talked about that. So, but I was real pleased to have her as my backbone, and she's been there.
I have to ask this: does Miss Coach ever offer any X's and O's advice to you when you're around the house?
She don't do a whole lot of X and O's advice, but she will talk a little bit mental concepts of just life in the game. And I mean, I listen to her, and she sort of go in one ear and the other, but I sort of pay attention to a lot of everything that she says. A lot of her information that she speaks, and about what we're trying to do and what we need to be doing, and just trying to get better. She's about trying to get better and want to do it the right way.
I found you another helper, and he just joined the broadcast, and he cannot say no under any circumstances. Proud WSN alum, John Robert Fountain. So if you get in a pinch and you ever need anything, you go to the Escambia County Courthouse, ask for John Robert Fountain. He's a circuit clerk, and he cannot say no.
John Robert Fountain.
He cannot say no.
Remember that name. I'm not real good with names, but I'm going to remember that name.
Well, he's the funny-looking guy in the courthouse. So he'll be pretty easy to find, but he can't say no. So when you get in that spot and you have nowhere else to go, you look him up.
That'd be a good deal.
Well, Coach, it's been a lot of fun here again this week and this hour, spending some time with you, and look forward to the ball game tomorrow. I know there's going to be a great crowd. Welcome the Blue Eagles back home, and I look forward to getting that first region victory against Satsuma. And I look forward to catching up with you next week and seeing how things go, and hopefully we'll be recapping a big victory.
That'll be a good deal. Hope so.
Very good, Coach. Good luck. Hope everything goes your way.
Appreciate you having us on.
We appreciate everybody that joined us here tonight. Once again, it will be archived there on the Bossman's page. If you want to watch a little bit later, we would encourage you each and every week to interact with us. We want this thing to turn into a family reunion every Thursday night. The more fun you guys have, the more fun we'll have. And once again, I appreciate all our sponsors, and I look forward to doing it again next Thursday. This has been a Bossman production of Go Big Blue.
Thank you for watching Go Big Blue. Tune in each week as we keep you up to date on the Blue Eagles. Until next week, Go Big Blue.